You are listening to ESPN Cricinfo.
I'm here with Russel Arnold after West Indies have sensationally defeated Sri Lanka at home to become World T20 champions. Big disappointment for the home crowd. Russell, it's difficult to process a match like that just went up and down all the way through. What went wrong for Sri Lanka?
It's tough to put your finger on it because they lost the toss and they were well on top. 12 overs, the West Indies were only 48 runs. Chris Gale back in the heart. Well, they turned it on, and even at the toss, if you said you're chasing 138, Jayawardene would have been happy. So even at the halfway mark, we're talking about Sri Lanka being expected to get there. Of course, the pitch was turning; it's on the slower side, but I didn't think it was exploding. The West Indies spinners did get a lot of turn later on in the game, which is understandable, but I really did think Sri Lanka would have had it covered. And the way to get there is a start early. I thought the real key blow was dealt by Rampal when he dismissed Tilakaratne Dilshan with a peach of a delivery, probably the best we've seen in the tournament. Sri Lanka needed those first 6 overs to count. Even though it was 137, they needed a decent start. And what Dilshan does for Sri Lanka is he gives us that momentum, which lets the other batsmen just settle into their game. It's a final, it's a pressure game. Jayawardene and Sangakkara together needed to take chances at that stage to do what Dilshan did. So that was a key blow. They couldn't really get going. The West Indies bowled really well. It was wicket to wicket, and how good was their fielding? They were cutting off so many runs, enjoying every moment of it, and gradually as the required rate goes up, pressure builds. And that's what you see happen. But that's what scoreboard pressure is about, and that's why we keep saying a start is so crucial.
So, I mean, you talked a lot about pressure there. Was it a case of Sri Lanka just folding under pressure? That middle order came in and there were a few run-outs. Also, Mahela Jayawardene and Kumar Sangakkara didn't attack as much as they possibly could have in the early overs. And West Indies just seemed to have handled the pressure really well. Is that how you see it happening?
Well, the game is all about handling pressure and trying to put your opposition under pressure, trying to put them out of a zone that they're comfortable with, try to make them uncomfortable, try and get them to do something that they're not used to, something different. Now, the last few overs that the West Indies batted, the last 8 overs, they probably scored close to 90 runs. Now, going into the break, they've got something to bowl at. They're feeling good. Sri Lanka know they're a bit disappointed from where they were to have conceded those runs. And they know they are in for a fight. Dilshan gets knocked over. You start thinking you have to work harder. Things are not going into plan. And that's what it is. You create your own demons. And credit must go to the West Indies for the way they played, because you did mention Sangakkara and Jayawardene are not able to go out there and score fast. But the opportunity was not there. They were bowling well, which meant the Sri Lankans needed to take chances. So chances can come off, might not. So it's a case of playing on each other's nerves and trying to get the better of you. West Indies kept sticking to their task and kept building the pressure.
Yeah, Mahela has really missed a trick throughout the tournament, but today Malinga started going for runs, yet he bowled him out for his 4 overs. Do you think that was a mistake?
Certainly not. In that situation, you always go to Lasith Malinga. 4 overs for 54, the highest he's probably conceded. And he's the only bowler the West Indies took apart. You look at the rest of the figures, Sri Lanka have bowled really well. Dhananjaya, Mendis, they were awesome. It's only Malinga's figures that really hurt Sri Lanka. But he's our hero. He's the man in difficult times you turn to. Today was so unfortunate that he could not turn it on. His Yorkers were slightly off mark, and probably because of the pitch gripping, he went for those slower balls on a length, which Marlon Samuels was able to get under. Now these things do happen, but in no way, it's not missing a trick. Anybody would go to your best bowler in such a situation. Lasith Malinga it was. And even in the past we've seen with him, he'll go for boundaries, but he'll pick up that wicket for you and change the game for you. It's so unfortunate that was not the case today.
Yeah, today again the top order couldn't deliver as they have for a lot of the tournament, but the middle order again failed to really take that chance to prove themselves. Do you think there's a problem there for Sri Lanka going forward, or do you think they're on the right track in terms of building a very dependable middle order?
I wouldn't rule these players out. I think they're highly skilled and they've been proving that they've been improving, and they are a part of international cricket. The pressure was such, the conditions were such that it was going to be difficult. Any team would have struggled in that situation. It's not a case of these guys being no good. That's what we talk about. That's what you want to put the opposition under. Pick up early wickets, push that run rate up. The new batsman in slow condition will always struggle. New batsman coming in to score at 8-9 runs and over, they got to go after it straight away, which is never easy. So, that's the zone as a fielding team you want to go to. And today, the Sri Lankan middle order could not respond. And, that's expected in a game.
Last time Sri Lanka lost a World Cup final, it seemed to really hurt the team. They couldn't shake a really bad run of form for almost 8 months. How much will this loss hurt Sri Lanka in front of their home fans? They've been the form team of the tournament. How much will it hurt for them to have lost in this manner?
Well, the 2011 World Cup and after is a different story, because Muralidharan moved on, and that's going to be big changes, huge changes. But this, Sri Lanka need to pick themselves up mentally. When they go to another tournament, this will come back to haunt them. It's happened 4 times, and throughout the tournament they've been good. They've been building up momentum, playing wonderful cricket, and coming into the finals, probably today as favourites, considering the home advantage, etc. So this is going to haunt them, and they'll have to clear that tag. Even before the game, everybody was talking, it's happened 3 times, will Sri Lanka choke? But they're all human. These little factors will bug them, even though the personnel in the team do change. So it's about getting over that psychological barrier, not making demons count, just trying to focus totally on what you do. These distractions, these are little distractions that do creep in and make players worry. So it's going to be tough, because they will be disappointed, the fans will be disappointed, but it's all about trying to put it behind you and try and play better cricket.
Do you think there is a trend with the 4 finals that they have lost? Is there something lacking mentally, or is there something lacking in their attitude? Is there something that Sri Lanka teams are missing to take that final step?
Well, you could argue that it's mentally, because skillfully you cannot just suddenly lose all your skills, and attitude-wise, no, they were disciplined, they were trying hard, but probably didn't handle the pressure well enough. When it really mattered, it'll come down to that, in fact.
Thanks very much, Russel Arnold. I'm Andrew Fernando for Cricinfo, signing off. Cheers.
This is ESPN Cricinfo.